Okay, so we are in InDesign right now, and we are going to use the pen tool and practice that pen tool used today. All I've done so far is I've downloaded the TwitterBird and placed it into a blank page. So go ahead and do that. You can do an 8.25 by 10.5 inch page. That's totally fine. I'm going to lower the opacity of this just so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. You do not need to lower the opacity of yours. It's just helpful on the computer screen. So I'm going to zoom in and click on the pen tool. So when you're using the pen tool, make sure you're using that top pen tool, not the anchor or the delete or whatever. And we're going to start at his little wing, and we're going to go to the next point, like the next clean point. So we see like just one little curve here. So I'm going to click on this point right here and hold, and then it lets you kind of bend it until it matches. That looks pretty good. And then you're going to come back over, and when you see that little arrow change to this, then you're going to click here. What that does is it erases the anchor point. If I don't do that, what happens is when I go to make my next line, I have a lot of trouble. It's impossible really to get my line to curve correctly. So you need to come over and delete that anchor point so that your next line is, you have more freedom with it. Now, if I tried to go over here and do this whole curve at once, I'm going to have a lot of difficulty getting it to be a perfect shape. It's not going to happen. And you can kind of test this a little bit on your own and see if you can get it, but you probably won't. So Command Z to undo that point, and I'm going to come up to the middle of his head and try and get that point pretty clean. That looks good. And then I come back over and I click, and I go to the next point. And it doesn't have to be totally perfect, just as close as you can get it. And so this is the basics of how you trace something with the pen tool. I'm just going to kind of do it pretty quick here. It might be a little messier just so you can see what our end result should look like. So this last point, it might let me do the whole thing. Probably not. That's a pretty big curve. But we'll see. Take your time with this. I'm going to kind of rush through it a little bit just so you're not watching me do the same thing. You'll probably need to break this into 2 points because that's a little too off for me. All right, I'm just going to make this a little. Okay. And then, so when you connect it, you saw that little O appear. To show that we have like a completed shape. So once you have that completed shape, you can move it and delete your background shape. So now this is my Twitter logo that I have created. And go ahead and you can fill the background in with whatever color you want. So like maybe we're doing a story about like relationship tweets, and we want it to be like, we want a pink and a blue logo or something cute like that. So go ahead and pick a color. And then the last thing I want to show you, if you click on that second master selection, the direct selection tool, and you see these turn white, you can move your points after you have placed them, which is kind of helpful. Tomorrow you're going to be making like cartoons of yourself, or at least next class you'll be making cartoons of yourself. So you'll get really familiar with this direct selection tool and the pen tool. But that is all you are doing today.